everyone, this is your science e-learning lesson for Wednesday, April 15th. Today we're going to be taking a look at two things. I'm going to be working with you here on comparing mass of objects, and then later on you're going to look at comparing densities of objects. Both are done the same way in that we have a table that's been set up for us. Here we have different objects and we have the different mass of these objects, and the mass is given in grams. Notice that we're using decimal numbers to represent the mass. So we have grape, which is 1 2/10 grams. The dime, 3 8/10 grams. Peanut, 1 4/10. Paperclip, 1. And pen cap, 2 6/10. Remember that when we have a whole number like this, 1.0, okay, that simply means 1. There are no tenths. Okay, so we can just say 1. So we use a number line to represent the different masses, or to show the different masses here. And with the number line, in this particular one, we're moving to the right. As we move to the right, our numbers increase. Let's take a look at what we have. We have 1 2/10, 1 4/10, 1 6/10, 1 8/10, 2 2/2, 2 4/10, 2 6/10, 2 8/10, and 3. You should recognize that our numbers here are increasing by 2/10. 1 2/10, 1 4/10, 1 6/10. So the numbers are increasing by 2/10. Okay? So now we're going to take a look. We're going to use this information to answer a few questions. The first question, which point on the number line represents the mass of the grape? So what point on the number line represents the mass of the grape? You have A, B, C, or D. Which of those represents the mass of the grape? So you go back to the table. Grape tells us that the mass of the grape is 1 2/10. And that would be represented here by the B, 1 2/10. So this represents the mass of the grape. Next question. Where on the number line would you plot the point for the mass of a dime? Where would you plot the point for the mass of the dime? Well, let's take a look. The dime, there's 3 8/10 grams. Okay, the mass of the dime is 3 8/10 grams. Where would 3 8/10 grams fall on this number line? Well, we started here at 1. We went up to 3. 3 8/10 would be where? Is it going to fall in between anything here on the number line? Would it come before what we have on the number line? Would it come after what we have on the number line? The dime, the mass again is 3 8/10. Where would that fall on this number line? Hi, you should recognize that since the number line only goes up to 3, this is 3 and, so it's more than 3. 3 8/10 tells us that it's going to be out here somewhere, okay? Somewhere beyond the 3. Somewhere beyond the 3, further out there, okay? So 3 8/10 for the dime is going to be out here past the 3. Good. Next question. Which item weighs almost 4 times the amount as the paperclip? Which item weighs almost 4 times as much as the paperclip? Well, let's take a look. What is the mass of the paperclip? The mass of the paperclip is 1. Okay? What would 4 times that amount be? Again, 4 times. So what are you doing? Multiplying. 4 times 1. Let me get something we could see a little bit better. Oh, that one's not working so well. Okay. Okay. So we have 1 1 times 4 would be what? Again, forgetting for a minute that it's written as a decimal, just think of it as a whole number because that's what 1 is. It's a whole number. And 1 times 4 is 4. So if we were looking for some other object that weighs almost 4 times the paperclip, we're looking for then a mass of about 4 grams. So then you just have to look through which of these items have a mass that's almost 4 grams. Okay, because remember I had said which item weighs almost 4 times, almost, which means it's not quite, it's almost 4 times as much. Since the paperclip weighs 1 gram, 4 times that amount would be 4 grams. And then going through, we look to see which of the other items weighs almost 4 grams. And if we look, we see that the dime weighs 3.8 grams. 3.8 grams. So that's pretty close to 4 grams. So then the item that weighs almost 4 times as much as the paperclip would be the dime. Again, good estimating skills. Remember, because when we estimate, we're looking at about how much. It's not an exact number. And that's what it was here. Looking for an item that weighed almost 4 times the paperclip. Okay? And that would be the dime. And then the last question that I want us to look at is if you were to take these items and arrange them in order from which has the smallest mass to which has the greatest mass, then what would that look like? Okay, which of these items has the smallest mass? And we look, and it's the paperclip at 1. Paperclip has a mass of 1 gram. Then the next would be what? Okay, we have 1 and 2 tenths, 3 and 8 tenths, 1 and 4 tenths, 2 and 6 tenths. Okay, so after the 1, it would be the grape at 1 and 2 tenths. After that would be the peanut at 1 and 4 tenths. 1, 1 and 2 tenths, 1 and 4 tenths. Then after that would be the pen cap, which is 2 and 6 tenths. And then last would be the dime, which is 3 and 8 tenths. So let's go back and just review for a minute. Again, when we're comparing, in this case comparing masses, and we're looking for the smallest, we're looking for the greatest mass. Okay, look, always start by looking at what the whole number is. Here you have 1, 1, 1. So you know that 1 is going to come before 2, and that 2 is going to come before 3. So just for a minute, just think of them as your whole numbers. Then when you see, okay, I have these 3 objects that have a mass of 1 and something. Okay, so all of the ones are together. So now look at that second part. Look at the tenths that you have. 0 tenths, no tenths, 2 tenths, 4 tenths. Again, you know that 0 is less than 2 and 2 is less than 4. So again, you're just taking, your knowledge of whole numbers and you're still able to apply that to your decimals. So 1 and 0 tenths, which we just say is 1, then 1 and 2 tenths, then 1 and 4 tenths. And then the next largest amount that we had was 2, the pen cap, 2. 2 what? 2 and 6 tenths. And then we had 3 and 8 tenths. So you want to use the whole numbers to help you figure out which is the smallest, which is the greatest. Okay, and then we just take a quick look here. The A on the number line then would represent which of our objects. Okay, the 1 is the paperclip. We said before that B, since that's 1 and 2 tenths, that's the grape. C, which is 1 and 4 tenths, that's the peanut. And then we have D, which would be the pen cap at 2 6/10. And then we said the dime at 3 8/10 would have to be out here, a little bit beyond, okay, a little bit beyond the 3. Okay, because here our number line ended with 3, that's 3 8/10, so that's going to be a little bit beyond what we have here. Okay, all right, now in your textbook today, I want you to work on pages 340 and 341. Pages 340 and 341, comparing densities. Here we were comparing the mass of objects. You're going to be looking at the densities of liquids, and you have corn syrup, cooking oil, ethyl alcohol, gasoline, and water. And so those densities are listed for you. Again, set up just like this, only it's densities. You have liquids and densities. You have a number line. You have certain points plotted for you on the number line. And you have 4 questions that you need to answer. You have to use the table and the number line to answer the questions about comparing the densities of those liquids. Okay? If you have any trouble with that or any questions, please make sure you reach out to me and I can help you out with that. Okay, again, it's set up just like what we did here on the board. The difference now, though, instead of mass of solids, you now have the density of liquids. Okay, good luck. As I said, you have any trouble, you have any questions, please make sure you reach out to me and I'll talk to you later. Bye.